where now he can use it with pretty much all of his clients, so much so that I feel the obligation to tell any client that is 62 years of age and older about this product, that they need to know about this. Whereas 25 years ago, I felt every person needed to know about long-term care, at least know about that opportunity. It's how I feel today about this product.
Welcome back to the Just Build Baby Studio, listening to the BuildX Podcast, your ultimate guide to creating exceptional homes, innovative living spaces, and staying informed on all aspects of residential building technology. I'm your host, Buz Artiano. Today we're excited to have Andrew Witherow, who is a financial advisor at Donovan Wealth Management Group with over 24 years of experience in the financial industry, and Kathleen Caddell, who is a senior mortgage consultant at Fairway Home Mortgage, with 21 years of experience in the financial industry. We've got some serious horsepower in the room today. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
So,
to be here.
Kathleen, you are a repeat flyer.
Yes, sir.
This is your second tour of duty. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And Andrew, welcome to the show individually.
Thank
So last time Kathleen was here, we talked about a HECM. And I said to Kathleen, I have no idea what you're talking about. She straightened me out. And then I said, we really need to have a financial planner on board to explain the backside of that, if you will, what that's all about. And so that's we'll probably talk about some other things, but that's the primary focus of today's conversation, because I do have a lot of clients that I think this makes sense for. And I'm not going to explain it correctly. And they're going to want to speak to one or both of you to get expert opinion. So this is an opportunity for them ahead of time, and then that'll help shape their questions. So a little homework for them to watch the episode. So before we get into that, maybe if you could just introduce who you are, your history, how you got into wealth management, and then we'll have you do the same, and then we'll go back and forth, have some fun.
Good. You got it. Thank you, Buzz. That sounds great. So my name is Andrew Witherow. I've been in the financial industry since early 2001. I was relatively lucky in life that I knew what I wanted to do pretty early on. I was an econ major in college, and so finance has always kind of been what I've done. I'm actually from Colorado. I moved out here in 2022 to purchase a financial practice, which I now am partner of in Donovan Wealth Management, as you mentioned before. So my favorite things to do, I guess, is I coach my son's soccer team, and I enjoy cooking and baking, that sort of thing. And if it's okay, I have to say hello to my big guy, Harrison. Looking forward to you turning 10 on Sunday.
All right, shout out, happy birthday.
Hey.
All right, Kathleen, so maybe if you could take a minute and just reintroduce yourself to the audience.
Sure, and Buzz, thank you for having me back. Pleasure to be here. So my name is Kathleen Caddell, and I'm a senior mortgage consultant with Fairway Home Mortgage. I've been in the mortgage industry for 21 years, the last 15 with Fairway. And prior to that, I came from Andrew's world and was a regional sales manager for New England and New York for 7.5 years. Clearly, I started in kindergarten. So
29 again, right?
always, or 21, whenever. So,
Oh, going backwards.
so I have that unique background where I come at what I do for a living a little bit different than others. I really focus on budget and suitability and finding the right product for somebody. It's not about putting everyone in a 30-year fixed mortgage. It's what are we trying to do? What are we trying to accomplish? And let's dial it back and talk about payment and what you want for cash to close.
All right, give me your signature phrase. What's your signature phrase now?
So we have rebranded from Fairway Independent Mortgage to Fairway Home Mortgage. So now all roads will lead you home.
Yay! And you marry your...
Okay, so you are going to marry the house, but you're only dating that rate.
You're in the house and date the ring.
I like that one. So let's talk about all things HECM. Maybe start off, what is a HECM, and then
Sure.
we'll get into that use case.
Great. So the home equity conversion mortgage is what a HECM is. It sounds like I'm clearing my throat,
Yeah.
but we do have our acronyms in the mortgage world. So HECM, and many people used to know this as a reverse mortgage, but the product has changed so much, the name of it has changed, as it should have. So about 10 years ago, this product changed so drastically that now I feel it is an essential tool in Andrew's world, where now he can use it with pretty much all of his clients, so much so that I feel the obligation to tell any client that is 62 years of age and older about this product, that they need to know about this. Whereas 25 years ago, I felt every person needed to know about long-term care, at least know about that opportunity. It's how I feel today about this product. So 20 years ago, I used to put people in a reverse mortgage truly as a loan of last resort. This was to save them from a foreclosure circumstance. Now, like I said, I feel the obligation to tell every 62-year-old about it because it opens up so many possibilities for those that are 62 and older. The biggest thing, the game changer for me, is the line of credit. It actually sits there and grows at the interest rate of the loan plus a half a point. So we literally are changing everything around for a consumer now, where your traditional buyer comes in for a traditional, call it a forward mortgage, and wants obviously the lowest possible rate, as we all do. But now that rate's actually working for you. So we can dial up and dial down the margin so we can play with what that growth rate is going to be for that line of credit. So that line of credit is basically future equity in their home that we're setting aside and letting grow. And when they need that, they can tap into it and use it for whatever they need. So probably the number one reason I see seniors need to use this is to be able to age in place. So they can no longer, Social Security is certainly not keeping up with inflation, and the loss of a spouse is often a major financial blow. The expenses didn't go down, but the income got cut significantly.
Sure.
So this can enable them to stay in place and not have to leave. That's number one, or to pay for their care at home. Another reason is to extinguish the traditional forward mortgage and or home equity line of credit. That in itself can be a huge cash windfall for people, so that they no longer have that outlay. We have people that need to we call it downsize, but I call it right size their home. Maybe they no longer need that 4-bedroom colonial, but they would like to have a 1-level somewhere, or
ADU.
an ADU, exactly, and add that to somebody's house or a separate building detached now, that you can do that here in Massachusetts. So this could help to pay for that, but also instead of taking all of the net proceeds from the sale of your home, let's maybe use half of those proceeds, use the HECM to finance the rest. We do a HECM for purchase, or we call that an H for P. Give the rest to Andrew to go invest and leave even a bigger legacy to your children than you would have otherwise. Buzz, that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions, is that we are taking the inheritance from the children, and I'm saying potentially you're going to leave an inheritance now that maybe wouldn't have been there otherwise, or leave a bigger one. There's just so much to say about this product, but also for Andrew's world, it can help to pay for a Roth conversion. It can, I've had people that have used it on their primary residence here. It must be done on your primary residence. Take that cash out and go buy a condo in Florida with that cash. So now they have 2 properties. They're snowbirds, no mortgage payment on either. That's guaranteed for the rest of their life until they're 150. And if they live longer, we will extend.
You know, I hope they make it. I hope someone cashes in on that one.
Saying, invite me to that birthday.
I hope someone cashes in on that 151.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the things I think that makes it compelling now too, and you can help the details here, is they're federally insured now, right? And that was a big thing, I think, for us, and we're CFP people in the advisor world, is the safety, and the, I won't say safety, the backing of the federal government really makes it, I think it makes it more appetizing to me.
100%, Andrew. So now it has something called a non-forfeiture benefit on it. These are federally insured loans, the HECMs, by the U.S. government through HUD. And what that essentially means at the end of the day is the government is saying, okay, Buzz, you give me, the U.S. government, not Kathleen, not Fairway, not Andrew, 2% of whatever the value of your home is today, and I, U.S. government, guarantee that no matter what happens to the economy, to values, to you financially, we can never force you to sell your home or make you make payments for the rest of your life.
Wow.
You have requirements. Maintain the property, so just don't allow it to fall into disrepair. You must continue to pay your real estate taxes. You must continue to pay your homeowner's insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you do that, you can stay there to your 150, never have to make a payment. And so can your spouse. And then when you both passed away, your heirs get a choice. So that guarantees you that no matter values drop like we saw in 2007, 2008, we saw people's home equity lines of credit that they stuck in the draw suddenly were no longer usable. Those were just shut off.
It was just paperwork.
That doesn't happen here. In fact, that line of credit is going to keep growing.
Yeah.
In addition, so you get to stay there. Doesn't matter what happens to values, but now you've both passed away, you and your spouse. Your kids inherit the property per your will. Let's just assume it's the children. They have a choice. They can pay off the loan if they have the means to do so. They can refinance it, or what they probably do is sell the property and then they walk away with the net proceeds. So the loan's like a lien like any other lien. It gets paid off at closing and they walk away with the net proceeds. But what if? What if they live to be 120? And the house is upside down, meaning at that point, they owe more for what the house is worth. Well, they win because they lived there for maybe 50 years and never made a payment, used all that line of credit, and the kids can turn in the keys and walk away. They are never being left with that debt. Now, the concept there is, as we say, there's 3 buckets of wealth. Bucket number 1 is your income. Bucket number 2 is Andrew's world. And then bucket number 3 is my world. And that's usually what we call a lazy asset. It's the equity in your home that's doing nothing for you.
Right.
So let's tap into it. I love when Andrew can sit with a client and do what's called a coordinated strategy, and maybe in an off year in the stock market, pull money out of that line of credit to enhance their life or use for purposes. And then maybe in an off year for the equity of the home, they let that sit there and they're maybe pulling money from required minimum distributions that need to be made or something. That's his area of expertise. But if you do that strategy, their net wealth lasts whole lot more, and you're leaving even more money to the children. Once people understand that, Buz, they get disarmed, because the biggest misconception is kids are being left out. You own my home. Not true. You're still on title. It's still your home. You can still sell it anytime you want. And the third thing is that you can't be kicked out of there. People often say, this is too expensive. And I say, maybe, but it's too good to be free. And the expense is your traditional closing costs, but then that 2% of today's value. That's where the expense is. That's called insurance. Like any insurance, it's worth it.
Absolutely. One of the things you mentioned earlier that kind of maybe moves us into our case study that we did, that made the situation that we utilize this product very, very valuable was, if you still have
So let's get into that. Let's do that, and then we're gonna go back to what you were just about to say. So you've recently done one of these.
Yeah, we
And
recently.
this was one of your clients? Okay, so take me to the start and take me where Andrew got plugged in, take me through what you did and what the outcome was.
So Andrew actually referred the client to me.
Okay.
So Andrew can start.
All right.
So yeah, I had a client that, we were trying to,
This is somewhere in Massachusetts.
this is a client in Massachusetts that
2 people or 1?
just a one divorced woman.
Okay.
No kids.
with the goal to retire.
And she was in her 70s, like a lot of people are facing now, and I think they will in the future. She's still working. She's 72 years old and she's still working to pay the bill. She's got a mortgage still. She's got a house that's worth about $636,000. She still owed $70,000 on it.
Okay, so she still has a small mortgage, so she had round numbers, $600,000 of equity.
$600,000 in equity. Monthly mortgage is about $1,300 a month. So she's working,
So that was her principal interest in taxes.
PITI,
Yep.
and she is getting Social Security. So she gets a little Social Security, has a little pension as well. But 2/3 of all of her income is going to the mortgage.
Wow.
And so, you're really just surviving at that point.
Yeah.
You're not really enjoying your twilight years, And so, not every candidate is perfect for this, but if they are, it's such a perfect product, because she didn't have a lot of liquid assets, but she had a lot of she had a fairly major asset. And so when you start to heck them, immediately you're coming at it 2 different directions. So now you don't have your $1,300 a month going out.
Wait, you're going too fast. Excuse me, sir. That's all right. So you got to break it down for the simple-minded builder. So we have this client.
Right.
She's 72 years old, single person,
Yep.
in a house, $600,000 worth of equity, $70,000 mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say what to her? I think I have a solution for you?
So how the conversation started is through financial planning. You know, we sit down and we say, okay, so what are your monthly expenses? And we're going through streaming services, gas, car, all this stuff. And then we go, okay, well, what are your inflows? You know, people traditionally have Social Security, maybe a pension, and maybe some retirement income. She had, like I said, she had a little pension, she had some Social Security, but she did not have a lot of retirement savings. She had been through a divorce, and her retirement savings were just not super ample. And so then we started thinking, well, what else can we do? And she had talked about being, you know, fairly exhausted with working still, and so we thought, you know, how can we get another stream of income for you that allows you to stay where you are, because she liked her house. She even looked, and that was part of this too. She looked, she said, I could sell my house and downsize. And she said, I like my house. And I don't want to move out of my house. It was a, if I remember, is it a ranch house? It's kind of single level living, which is great as you age. And so in these days with the housing market, I mean, we're the existing home sales, correct me if I'm wrong, are where they were in 1995. And we have millions more people. So it's hard to downsize, to sell your house and buy a little condo, because that little condo now is about the same price as your
No, it just doesn't exist.
does.
That's the
Especially
biggest
more
problem.
expensive with
Right.
HOA dues.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Now you gotta put HOA fees and all the other things.
Exactly.
So now you have neighbors that you didn't have before.
Exactly. Exactly. And so this was a way for her to kind of have the best of both worlds.
Sure.
Stay where you are. Gosh, can I stop working now? Can I check all these things off my list?
Yeah.
Have income to support my life, quit my job so I have to slave away every day, and not have this $1,300 mortgage every month. And so then we started thinking about it. And to your point, Kathleen, I still in my head had these memories of the old reverse mortgages.
Yeah.
You know, and so at first I thought, boy, you know, this is truly an idea of last resort, you know. And
And this is your first time using this recently.
it is.
For you personally.
I've come across many reverse mortgages in my career, but I'd never recommended them, and I had never had what heck them. They were all the old school ones. Where, and to go way back, because if you go way back, the first reverse mortgages were even more unscrupulous. Where, you know, people,
it was bad stuff.
people would do a reverse mortgage, give their money to something highly risky. Now they're out of their money and they're out of their house.
Yeah, it was a lose-lose. But let's stay on this one. So now you've in your mind you say to yourself, maybe a Heckham's a good for this woman.
I think maybe a Heckham's good for this, and if I can get into why I thought it was
So let's
a good idea.
that's why I want people to understand.
So the structure of it is you know, once you go through this, once they evaluate the value of the house, they really come back to you and say, okay, we can give you a chunk of change right now. In her case, it was about $30,000
Right.
that you give day one. Here's $30,000. That is for several things. You could save that if you want to do some. What she's doing is she's doing some upgrades to the house. She's had this house forever, and she hasn't had the money to do the upgrades. She's working her butt off and doesn't have the extra money. So now she's not working. Now she has a little bit of money, so she can make that kitchen a little nicer,
or whatever it is.
get the roof fixed, update the bathrooms, and do all these things that really mean a lot to her, and not bring on extra. So she's not taking a loan to do this. So she's getting the cash to do this, but she's not financing a remodel. She's just taking the cash and doing that. And then separately, you have your line of credit. So then they offer you a line of credit, which is in her case, it was about $100,000. And they gave you a percentage rate. You said it was 1% above
The interest rate plus a half a point.
interest rate plus half a point. In her case, it was 7.125%. So what that means is you have this $100,000, call it, in this line of credit, and it is growing at 7.5% a year. So how much would it be after 1 year, Buzz? Here's a quiz. $100,000, 7.5%.
7.5.
You got it. And so now she's at $170,000 the first year. And what I love about that is it incentivizes you to be responsible with it, right? So if you don't pull it out right away, your money's growing.
But hang on. So just for clarification, $100,000 line of credit. I can't pull all 100,000. There was a limit on that, right?
There's a limit for year one.
For you.
So we paid off her mortgage. So that in and of itself was a cash windfall for her because she no longer had that principal and interest. She's still the taxes and insurance, but not the principal and interest. Two is we gave her $30,000 so she could renovate and do things that needed to be done in a home. And 3 is for future needs. That line of credit is sitting there growing. And we want to encourage her, as Andrew said, to only pull out as she needs it because it's growing at 7.125%. So
All right, so hang on now. Hang on. You're going too fast.
the unused portion,
Wait. Let's go backwards. So we had $600,000 worth of equity. Okay, we paid off the $70,000 note.
$530,000 in equity. The house is worth $600,000.
All right, so we had $530,000 in equity. We owed $70,000. We paid off the 70. We gave her a cash payment at closing of $30, and then we gave her a line of credit of $100K. Right? All those things happened out of the $530 that was left.
including paying all the closing costs.
Okay, and then we paid the $12,000 whatever closed the 2% plus whatever
Plus
the fees were.
additional closing costs.
So it was probably 15,000 in closing costs. Let's call it 15. Okay, and now I have no payments.
The rest of your life guaranteed.
And if I need the 100,000, I can tap into a certain portion year 1, and then after that, I can take it as a distribution.
Well, you have a choice. You could take it as a distribution. You could set up a payment per month.
Yep.
If you wanted, we call it a 10-year, not a 10-year, 10-year.
Yep.
And then the other option is what most people do is I say, check with Andrew, always check with your financial planner first, pull as you see fit, and then you can put back into it as you see fit.
Okay. Yeah, I know you can pay it down and pay it up.
You could, and you can always make a payment on this loan if you desire to. Why would you? If you never have to repay it for the rest of your life, because maybe your CPA comes to you and says, hey, Andrew sold a huge stock for you last year. You're going to have a big taxable event in January. So in December, why don't you make a $30,000 payment to your HECM? In January, you get a lovely 1098 from us saying that you made that payment. So now you have a write-off on your tax return. But here's the rub. You can take it back out. Goes right back into that line of credit.
Right. So now we've got this scenario, and so when you explain this to your client, what did that look like? What did that conversation look like when you went through all the numbers with her?
Sure.
What did that do for her besides the $30,000 to fix her house up? What did that allow her to do?
I think it allowed her to feel like she had a good choice, something that could be up her alley. Like anything, we're always wary of fees, but these fees, I think, again, the part of the fees go to this insurance that makes sure the loan stays solvent, to make sure that everything is in your best interest. And after you understand what the fees are, which are not all that outrageous for this,
They're pretty reasonable.
yeah. Then I think in what I can give her comfort in what financial planning helps you with is I can say, okay, with this $100,000, we can calculate how much she can comfortably take out for the next 10 or 15 years to survive. So, hey, if we take out this much a month each year, you should not outlive this money because of that, because it's growing. So if we can keep the distributions to 8 to 10% a year with a 7% growth rate, which can change, but it's kind of a slow creep, right? So you know that you may be spinning down a little bit. We call it a drawdown rate. And so so before where your drawdown rate, if in her, before she got the HECM, her drawdown rate would have been probably 20-30% a year with what her existing
100%.
assets.
Yeah.
But now you have this line of credit to where you can develop a healthy drawdown rate. And I think that
So in her case, if that 7.5 stayed fixed, she could say $7,500 a year, and she still have $100,000 in there every year.
yeah. And then if you need, and then at least I think mentally, if something
So
breaks and you need 10 grand, you can grab it.
Yeah, so if $500 a month is going to move the needle for her lifestyle and allow her to enjoy her life, theoretically it could go on forever if the rate didn't change.
Because remember, she stopped paying $1,300 a month or
Understood. Yeah, so you pick up $500 plus you lost $1,300, so now you have $1,800 in the plus.
You got it.
Right.
And you still have this bucket of cash that if
For
you're married.
emergencies or whatever.
And her home's worth more because now she just improved it too.
Right.
So what I really love about this concept is that too often people come to me after they've spent all the money that they have with Andrew and then feel like, okay, now I have nothing left. Now let's tap into the equity. And I say, if you'd only called me sooner, then you could have kept your money with Andrew and maybe even increased that.
Okay. So let's,
It's a great point.
yeah. So so in that case, you helped that client.
Mhm.
How did you make any money on that?
I didn't make compensation on it.
Okay, so that was strictly learning about, helping that person and learning about this product.
Absolutely. It was just,
No, it's important for people to understand that this is their opportunity to understand who you are, so that's why I'm bringing this up.
as a certified financial planner, we survive under a creed of what's best for the client is all we care about. It's in a lot of advisor worlds, it's a win-win is a good scenario for a relationship. With a certified financial planner, it's whatever's best for the client, regardless of the financial advisor. It's really an ethical as well as legal.
I understand that, but you still have bills too,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we have to remember that,
Absolutely.
right? And you've
I'm gonna-
been working for 20-something years to figure out what to do and make sure you don't do anything wrong, right?
Yes.
Cause no harm,
Correct.
right? So,
Yeah.
that's
But
important
kept
people understand.
client buzz too.
No, I get
Whereas-
that, but I just want people to understand that, I'm sitting here listening to the story, I'm running the numbers, and I'm thinking, where's Andrew's piece in it?
Right.
Right.
It is my relationship with Kathleen as well. This industry's a lot of karma too.
I understand. Listen, I want people to understand that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I appreciate it.
So now you've completed that transaction with the client. So other than living their life, there's nothing they have to do.
Nothing they have to do.
Right.
With a financial advisor, so you have to keep be conscious of your spending, right?
Sure.
It's not unlimited. But if you think about it, if you were before in this trap where you're just miserable, all your money's going out the door, and now all of a sudden you feel some relief. You don't have this mortgage. You have some money in the bank.
Yeah.
I think
at
you
least
feel
go
more
up
comfortable living on a
You can at least go and get a coffee every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
no,
my father
I'll
used
sit
to say,
aside. Yeah.
have
Or if a
everybody-
car breaks down or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
So
Vacation.
yeah,
She is, in fact. I can't remember where she's going. She's going somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm happy to. So good job, both of you. So
Thank you, Buzz.
So let's talk about some made-up scenarios now. Now that
Okay.
you're comfortable with Heckams, and I'm gonna just make up a scenario and we're gonna talk about it because these are the scenarios that I see. So, since January, I've had 160, almost 80 Zoom meetings with people talking about ADUs. So I feel like I've had. So 50% of the clients are a parent or parents that want to downsize and build in the backyard of one of their children. Or one of the children is going to buy the main primary house and they're going to build an ADU for the parent or parents in the backyard. That's 50%. 25% is someone in the family has some type of disability and they're living off campus, off site, in some apartment or group home, and they want them close. And then the last 25% is a young adult that wants their own house, but they don't want to spend $700,000, $800,000, $1 million on a house. They want to spend $300,000 to $400,000, have a really nice ADU on their parents' yacht. And then later on, they probably switch anyways.
Sure.
So it's still the first scenario, but it's delayed by, who knows, 20, 30, ish years,
Yeah.
right? So those are the clients. So in those stories, I hear a lot of family dynamics. I hear a lot of finance talk. I see a lot of equity and all these other things that go on. So I'm going to play some what ifs and we're going to work in the heckam on this because that's what this is the heckam episode.
Right.
Okay. So I'm just going to pick on, Mary Smith. So Mrs. Smith has a house and I love round numbers. So she has $1 million worth of equity on the house and she has no mortgage. Okay. And this is a very common scenario now. Okay. You have an older person that has outlived their spouse and they own the house outright and they have a little money in the bank, but they're equity rich, but cash poor.
House rich and bank for it.
Exactly. And, they have a son or a daughter that they're going to build an ADU for. And the first thing they say is, how am I going to pay for this ADU? And the conversation that we had, Kathleen and I had, was maybe it doesn't make sense to just sell the house and build the ADU and all those ramifications. Maybe this heckam comes into this scenario. So let's talk about that, how that makes sense. How do we use that product in this scenario? Or maybe it doesn't fit that. Maybe give me a different scenario.
Sure. So there's a couple of options there. And usually I wanted to say, well, what's the end game? Who's going to own it? Who's going to live in the main house? Who's going to live in the ADU? Because sometimes,
All right, so let's do the scenario where they're gonna build the ADU in the backyard for the $1 million equity house, and the mom is gonna live in the backyard, but she's still gonna be, it's gonna be a
owner.
family trust or whatever.
okay. So
Good point.
yes, because there's a
That
couple-
makes a difference. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So there are options. I mean, she could do traditional financing, or the kids could do traditional financing on that. If they're on the title, we could do a refinance. We could do a cash out refinance, and there's a couple of different options on that for products and so forth. So mom takes out the home equity conversion mortgage. It's based on her age, her date of birth, and the value of the property. Okay, so that's under the scenario that she's the one living there. Okay, and then
But she doesn't have to live on property. She doesn't have to live in the main house.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we can give her cash at closing to be able to pay you to do the renovation, and then with that much equity, she can have also a home equity, the line of credit that's going to sit there and grow for future needs or future home improvements that will need to be made, because no matter what, there's going to be something that comes up in the main house or in her house. So the benefit to her, she stays there. She upgrades her home. She does not have to make payments on that for the rest of her life.
Yeah, then that's key. That's key. Go ahead, keep going.
And then if and when she passes away, and if her kids want to keep the property, the kids get the choice.
Sure.
They can pay off the loan if they have the means to do so. They
Okay.
can pay it off as the loan balance.
Okay.
So that's what I always say is check the loan balance before you go and put a for sale sign in front of the house. Find out what the circumstances are, especially before you go and improve a property and find out what's owed on it.
Got it.
That's where I've seen
Right.
people make mistakes on those older reverse mortgages.
Oh, wait, let me slow you down there. At some point when mom goes up to the cloud, the children, again, round numbers, they owe $500,000 on the house.
To protect them, yeah.
Okay.
Now it's worth 1.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're saying before they do anything, they reach out to you
Mhm.
and say,
What's the balance?
Mom's passed away. What's the balance? And if they just refinance that and stay in the house in the same ownership with another product from you,
Yep.
it's 95 cents on the dollar.
Correct, unless they're of 62 years of age and older,
And they
which
can
is
start over
happening.
again.
Which
Which
is
can start over
happening.
again.
I had a client that was 100 and needed this because her 82-year-old daughter could no longer lift her out of the wheelchair. Kid you not. So it's happening. So
I feel like we need to build a matrix to figure this out.
it's 3-generational living now.
Yes. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So the kids get a choice. They can refinance it, pay off that $500,000. They have the means to do so. They can refinance it, as you said, 95 cents in the dollar, or maybe they want to sell it. Maybe that's no longer going to work for them.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they move into the in-law and their kids move into the house and they take out the HECM for themselves. So there are lots of options. They can sell it.
So they could
Selling it-
refinance at 90 cents on the dollar with another Heckham.
Right.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really like about the HECM as well is what you just said. In this scenario, you owe $500,000, it's worth $1.5 million. Because I think one of the biggest wealth transfer in this country over the years has been passing down a house to your kids, and that still can stay intact. To where, as you said before, a lot of people think, oh, the house is gone. If we do this, we'll never see it again. But if you have appreciation of the house, and the kids then have the ability to still get some of that tax benefit of the step up in cost basis from passing to the kids.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So, and I think the point needs to be made here too, is that value of that home is continuing to rise. And we do our numbers and projections very conservatively at a 4% appreciation year over year. We're seeing 19% appreciation year over year right now in Massachusetts, and in some towns even higher. Now that's just a generic number, not every place.
Yeah.
But 4%, ultra conservative, but it's not designed to be upside down where parents are owing more than what the house is worth, or borrowers, I should really say.
Sure. So same scenario. So are we done with that?
I had a question. This will show my limited knowledge of real estate. Because the younger you are when you apply for the HECM, the more line of credit you're usually awarded, right? The younger you are, or
No, the opposite.
Opposite, okay.
Because the less equity you can tap into, because you're probably going to live another 4 years. 40.
is there any benefit to or is it possible to put the house in the younger person's name? Does that do any benefit to the HECM if
Then we have to go on the younger person's date of birth, and it's even less available. So that happens, Andrew, because you might have a May-December marriage,
Right.
as we refer to it. So he might be 62, she might be 40. It
That
happens.
was kind of my question.
Right. So she's not out of the house. There's the law now to protect them on that, but she won't be able to tap into that line of credit when he passes and leaves her. She would then have to, either she can stay there or she would refinance.
Or she makes it
herself.
say to herself and she can refinance on that.
Sure.
So same scenario. Now mom has $1 million portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And her first reaction is, I'm going to sell a portion of that portfolio and build myself an ADU. And this is where you come in, honestly, Andrew, right?
Okay.
So Andrew says, no, don't do that. Let's use the HECM and let the market make us money over here and let the house appreciate, make us money over here. Am I saying that correctly?
So what do we sell in the portfolio for? So we already
To
have
build
the
the
house
ADU.
to build the ADU. Okay.
Right. So in this scenario, we have the main house. The mom's going to move into the ADU. The daughter or son-in-law, someone's going to live in the main house, but they don't have the money to buy it,
Sure.
right? So they're going to pay maybe real estate taxes or whatever, right, to chip in.
Sure.
But the mom has a financial, she has money in the bank from whatever,
Sure.
right? IRA, investment stocks, bonds, whatever.
Sure.
And you say no, because a lot of first reaction for those people that have their house paid off is, gee, I don't want to take a mortgage. I'm going to sell off $400,000 worth of stocks, probably pay a tax on that, right? And lose money. So they have to sell $500,000 to get $400,000, round numbers, 20%, and then build the ADU. And now they don't have $500,000 in the market working for them.
Sure.
And they still have all this trapped equity that's not doing anything for them. So in that scenario, again, tell me if I'm wrong. Your advice is keep your money in where it is, keep your money working for you. Let's get a HECM for you. You're only 65 years old. Let that money keep working for you. You don't need it to live on. And let's take the HECM and let's pretend you need a supplement of, $1,500 a month for whatever. Pull it out of the equity of the house through the HECM.
Because otherwise it's and probably one of Andrew's favorite terms is opportunity cost.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in liquidity, we always talk about with liquidity, you have options. So if you keep your $1 million in the bank and you do a HECM to finance an ADU, it could certainly work. We wouldn't want to look into debt, what their debt situation is, other aspects of the financial world. I even want to know a little bit more about the kids and what the kids are anticipating in the future. How well established are they? Are they borrowing money from mom all the time? Certain things like that. Make sure you understand the situation. But in a situation like that,
I'm saying it's a clean, again, we can't go too far into the weeds.
Sure.
Because we'll be here all day, but
sure.
Let's pretend it's a clean scenario where the kids are self-sufficient, but they don't have enough money to fund the ADU.
Sure.
They have enough money to maintain the property and pay the taxes and pay that insurance and, keep the upkeep.
Sure.
Right? So even that on a good sized house now is $3,000 a month at least.
Yep.
Right? So, it's stable, but it's not, they can't afford to take on another $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 a month to build the ADU. Right? And a lot of the gut reaction I see from a lot of people, I just had this conversation the other day, is like, oh, we're going to liquidate XYZ to do this. And I think the first reaction is, hey, you really need to talk to Andrew and Kathleen because there's probably a better way to accomplish what you're going to do and still let your investments grow for you.
Yeah, I think in that scenario, it could make a ton of sense. Where you're letting this bucket grow and then you have this other bucket that's also growing. And then you got to think about when Mary does go into the clouds, as you said before, then the kids are going to get this huge tax benefit, potentially, depending on what kind of account she has with this $1 million. So then the kids are going to get the $1 million when she passes away, and maybe they can use that money to make decisions on this HECM that you've taken out. So,
Right.
So yeah, I think that in that situation, that could potentially be a good idea.
Yeah, and then obviously there has to be some, Medicare planning in there and a whole bunch of other things. right?
Like medical expenses kind of thing? Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, the medical expenses are a big piece of it, but it's also a difficult piece to predict.
Yeah, it's unknown, right?
Yeah. And so
one day you're sitting there and all of a sudden you don't feel well, and next thing you know, you're in the hospital, unfortunately.
That's why I love that line of credit, because then it's there for just in case. So if you take it out as soon as you can at 62 and just allow it to sit there and grow, and you may not need it for 20 years, but get it and secure it and have it ready to go. And it's already starting to grow at 7.125%.
and it should be pointed out that this kind of product does not affect your Social Security. It's not like you're going to have all this income, so now they ding your Social Security, or if you have a state pension with Massachusetts, this does not have an effect on anything like that. So it is nice in that fact that you can have this extra income, and it's not having an effect on some of your other flows of income,
And that's because it's technically not income. It's
also-
technically a loan.
and it's not taxable. So the money deals
That's all. But it's like you said, it's there. But I want to explore that comment a little bit because I still don't think that's sticking to my thick skull.
Yeah.
So, I just pick on myself. So I'm 65, and I have a home. Your advice to me is take the heck 'em now, and do what?
Just let it sit there. All you're going to do is pay for the closing costs right now.
Okay.
You can do that out
The
of
closing
cash.
costs are the amount that I take the loan for. Right.
The loan amount is
2% plus the closing costs.
traditional closing.
Yeah,
costs.
so
but
3%.
What we call it is the principal limit. So that's the amount you can tap into today, and that's based upon the date of birth of you and your spouse and the value of the home. Okay. So unlike a traditional mortgage,
Let's pretend that I do have a spouse. Love you, honey. But let's pretend I don't have a spouse.
wonderful.
I know. Well, look, again, I want to keep this simple, right? So I don't have a spouse.
Yeah.
And just round numbers, my house is worth $500,000 and I have no mortgage.
right.
So you tell me to do what? And I'm 64.
So I'm telling you to take out the HECM today, and let's just have the closing costs
So how much can I,
financed.
round numbers, how much do you think I could take for
So
that?
if you're 65, probably 30 to 40% you can tap into of the equity, because, Buzz, this is a negative amortization loan.
I understand.
Okay, so every month that loan balance is going to increase. Payments are not required, but payments are optional. So they have to assume you're going to live.
That's assuming I take the money, though, out of the line of credit.
Regardless, that's how much you can tap into today. You can use it, put it in the line of credit. Some people pull it out to pay off their traditional mortgage. Some people,
No, but let's keep
Take
this
cash.
simple. I just want to be clear on this. So, it's $500,000 house,
line.
right? I'm gonna go with 600,000 for easy math. Now I have a $200,000 line of credit.
Mm-hmm.
It costs me how much to close on that $200,000?
12.
$12,000.
Yeah.
And let's pretend I pay for that cash.
Mm-hmm.
So now the $200,000 I haven't drawn on it all.
Right.
That doesn't cost me anything per month.
Correct. But under that scenario, you have to have something as a loan balance, or the loan's paid off in full. So you need to have
All right, so I gotta take 10 grand out of it.
$10,000 or something.
So I take the closing costs.
Yeah.
of the
Usually
12,000.
we would have you take the
So I take the 12,000 now, it's a loan and they can't call it back because I own a balance.
Correct.
So you never want to pay it down to zero.
Correct.
All right,
You
cool.
always want to, I
See,
always
this is
say
why
$1,000.
this is why I ask all these crazy questions because
Because you get to another point.
yeah,
Yes.
right. I know I'm a pain in the neck, but this is how I learn. So $12,000 balance,
Yeah.
right? And then I say, you know what? I don't really need this money anymore right now. I just want to have it
Just
in
in
case
case.
something happened, right? Rainy day fund
When you're 85.
when I'm 85. So now I don't touch it for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know we can't say predict in the future perfectly, but what is my available balance when I'm 85?
Well over $1 million.
Really?
Cash.
Even though I haven't made a payment.
Because it's sitting there growing at the 7 1/8. Plus the value of your home is increased as well.
Right.
So that's even more equity that you can tap into. The older you are, the more equity you can tap into.
So why did I do it then instead of when I'm 80?
You want that line of credit to start growing today. That's that 7.1.
that 7% with that 7% comp. It's here's the two
Opportunity
words
cost.
towards the opportunity cost and compound.
Yeah, I know we get it, man.
Compound interest. Yeah, that
Yeah.
7% over 20 years is great.
Right.
It's powerful.
Yeah, no, that's real good return. Plus the equity in your house, let's pretend it goes up 4% a year. That's 11%. It's hard to predict. It's hard to do that consistently in the market.
Correct.
And rates are high right now, so that'll probably eventually go. 7% is probably a pretty good
So it's
historical.
probably going to bounce down to 4 or 4.5 or 5, whatever it is, right?
Right. I don't think rates have that much further to go down. I don't think we're ever getting back to zero. I think those days are.
No, I don't think you're 0, but I think you'll get into the 5s. I think by December, Mr. Wonderful's going to quit, and then the rates are going to drop a 0.5 point, and then another 0.5 point in the spring.
I'm praying for 4.5. I'm praying for the mid fours. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Predictions are from Barry Habib this week that we will see rates very soon mid-5s by the end of 20.
from your lips to the interest rate God's ears.
To the bond market.
I felt like it was
because
said
that's
last
where rates come from, the bond market, not from the Fed. Yes, so let's go bond market.
All right. So everything has a downside.
Yes.
So Andrew, what is the downside to the HECM?
Well, I think one is legacy assets, right? I mean, legacy assets are assets you leave to your children.
Which means what?
Assets, estate, things you leave to your
if
kids.
I'm a person that says, you know what, my kids have to stand on their own 2 feet. I don't care if they get a dime when I pass, because I've seen both sides of this.
Sure.
Right. I've been in many family planning meetings, and you have you're getting you're getting $1.25 to, gee, I only left 20 million for you. I hope it's enough.
Yeah.
Right. So I've seen everything in between.
Yes.
So let's pretend you're on the you're getting nothing mode.
Sure.
Do you really care about that scenario?
Oh, I do. I very much do.
Okay, tell me why.
Why I care about the legacy assets?
Yeah.
Well, for one thing, it's the way that we as advisors continue to grow. Is keep it. We have mom. When mom dies, we want young Tommy to be a client as well. So,
Yeah, but in my scenario, Tommy's not getting anything.
oh, Tommy's not getting anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So would I still recommend the HECM if we know that Tommy's out of the picture? Okay, so that's a positive in the HECM column. What is your inflow right now? What are your assets outside your house right now? Are you getting a lot of Social Security, a big pension?
Yeah, okay. So there's a matrix that you need to sit through and say you got to play what ifs to the best you can ability, right? Because you don't know when someone's going to get incapacitated or sick or need extra money or whatever that is, or God forbid, maybe Tommy gets sick and he needs medical care, or you get sick and you need 24-hour care, or whatever it is, right?
Look, I look at it as a
Wait, before we get on that brings me to a point. In my first scenario, and I have to go into a nursing home, and can the HECM get wiped out by the nursing home and they can take all the money?
So that's an excellent question. The loan could become due if you vacated the property for more than 12 months and a day. There are 3 triggers that cause this loan to become due. One is both borrowers have passed away. Well, then the heirs, you don't have the choice, but they have to do something.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
You
And you
still-
have, what, 3 months you said on that scenario?
Generally, but then you can get it extended and so forth, as long as you're showing
Yeah,
that,
it's
you know,
not a
this is-
week. It's not a week.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're making efforts, you're
Yeah.
doing what needs to be done, cleaning out the house, so forth and so on, settling the estate. Second thing is, you could sell the property, okay?
Sure.
So, but if dad passed away, mom now needs 24/7 care in a skilled facility and needs to leave when she's vacated the property for more than 12 months in a day, then that loan becomes due.
Okay, so what happens if she's gone for 10 months and comes back for a month? It starts the
Right.
clock again?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's going to be a lot of mental transports.
It's what I went through with my mom last year. He's in for 3 months and then came home for 2 months and then went in.
So for that, every time you come home, it resets the clock?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's important for people to know.
sure.
I know I've
As
got
long
to
as
track
the
there, but
intent is you haven't permanently moved out. And that, Buzz, is exactly why that 12-month and a day rule is there. Because oftentimes we see what my mom went through. She's boomeranging between the hospital, rehab, and home. She just kept boomeranging.
Right.
So
yeah, no, that's good stuff. So that's a scenario, and but my question for you is, so if you've run out of money, and the line of credits, well, maybe wait a minute, let's talk about this. So the line of credit is still 100,000 left on the line of credit, but I'm not drawing on it. Can the nursing home force me to draw on that 100,000 to pay them?
no, because that's a loan. It's not income.
Okay.
And here's the thing. When you took out that HECM day one,
Mm-hmm.
let's do the scenario you were giving.
So that's a partial protection from nursing home
It's-
grabbing your money.
It's better than you realize.
Yeah.
Because let's go back to the scenario you said on yourself. You took out the first you took out just the closing costs, say 15,000.
Yeah.
Okay. We also record a second mortgage at the same time for the maximum claim amount, which is equivalent to the current value of the property.
Really?
So that means you can't turn around and put on a home equity line of credit, but also the nursing home would be in third position.
Which is a great thing with these. And
So
that's why,
that's another layer of protection in this estate planning.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
to that. Yeah.
Especially in, you have your stereo of your percentages, especially if you have a widowed person
Yeah.
that doesn't have children, close, or, because oftentimes we have children, maybe we can live with children in our later years, that kind of thing. But if you're kind of, and I know a lot of people in this position that are kind of a load, and when you get to these places down the road where you might need serious medical care, it is a big benefit that is, because one of the biggest estate strategies in the state, especially because it's Massachusetts, is to do one of these irrevocable trusts where you take your money away so you don't have access to it for 5 years. Basically, just saying, I want to show the state that I'm dead broke so that I can live off of the state if I need to.
Right.
And I think it's an acceptable way to do it. I think a lot of people do because it's the only option, but it's also a scary way to do it. I don't necessarily want to live in a state of the
irrevocable trust is irrevocable.
Right. Also define that because you have to be indigent in order for Medicaid to pay, which means you have prepaid burial expenses and you can't have more than
$320,000 worth of house or something like that. And so
2,000 in liquid assets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what they do, is they try to, on paper, show that they have
I
no
understand. We had Patrick in and we talked about that. Patrick.
and it's certainly a strategy, but this product kind of helps there. Yeah. I think it makes sense.
Brian Burr coming in shortly from South Shore Elder Law. So that's a fantastic. So the point of that is every scenario is unique.
Yep.
They need a team.
Yep.
to work on it
100%.
together.
Yes. That's the key because I also want at that table the children. I want the estate planning attorney, anybody that's their wise counsel. This is not a quick sale. This is let's introduce the concept. Let's look at the numbers and if they work for you on what you're looking to do. But then let's get everybody on board so that they understand what this is because there's so many misconceptions about this and we're not trying to take advantage of mom and dad. We're actually trying to help everybody
no.
at that table.
100%. Now the other, I just thought of another benefit of doing the HECM. So, again, Mary has $1 million worth of HECM. She has no mortgage. If she does the HECM, now there's a first and a second on. No one can steal her house from her with those deed frauds.
Right, which an estate planning attorney I know, that's another whole side of it that she's seeing a lot of. And it's unfortunate that some children come back with significant others that are then unfortunately taking advantage and taking money. So this could protect them, especially if dementia becomes an issue.
That's foolproof. There's already a mortgage on it for the value of the house. There's nothing left to tap.
Right.
Yep.
And we have safeguards on these loans too, because we need to know day one when you get it that you are of sound mind, that you have the ability to make this decision. But then we're not doing a big test on that, but we know the process and so forth. But in addition to that, we need to know who we can contact in the future if we can't get in touch with you, and who do you authorize today for us to talk to later, and maybe a trusted daughter
Or a trustee,
sibling
or a paid trustee or something like that.
somebody that you really trust instead of somebody that maybe is
No, I've seen them, unfortunately, personally, I've seen the ugly side of someone passing away even with a will, and it's, people contest things, and
it's an ugly side of mistake.
yeah, when the money starts is when the ugly starts.
Correct.
Yeah, if I could say another comment that I just thought of is that with our aging population, this is the HECMs, these new HECMs, I think are a great arrow in a lot of people's quiver. Where before we have people we're seeing people retire with not enough assets. We're seeing people inflation, as you mentioned before, Social Security is not keeping up with inflation, and so we're getting more and more and more and more people that I'm seeing that. The possibility of retiring and having enough money to live comfortably is going down and down and down. So a HECM could potentially, it's just another avenue to have that more comfortable life, to stay in the home, and to have another flow of income that you didn't before.
It's the biggest risk to our seniors today.
Absolutely.
Is running out of money. We know how to live longer. We don't know how to finance it.
Yeah, that's, that sucks.
What I see, 80 million people in this country can be over 65 by 2040 or something crazy. It's really pretty wild.
Have more people pulling from the system than putting into it.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother talk.
Whole other conversation. Yeah. However, it's still a money problem.
And no, it is. So now that you've done your first HECM,
Yeah.
you're a convert or are you still in the Fed?
I'm actually working on another one.
Okay.
I have
So
another.
you've seen the light.
I-
You've seen the
I-
HECM light.
I have seen the light, and it's not the light. I mean, there's a lot of products in this industry.
But now you're comfortable.
Yeah. There's a lot of products in this industry, and they all have their benefits. And I think this one is, with these new regulations and things have really moved up the list and a lot of potential for people. I think it's certainly come a long way.
It has, and I want to actually address that head on as to why it got such a bad reputation in the past. Because 20 years ago, I didn't have to take any of your income, your assets. It didn't matter what your credit was. You had equity. You got this. Good luck. Here you go. We stopped the foreclosure from happening. The problem was that we didn't make sure you could still financially afford the taxes, insurance, if there were HOA dues, and to maintain the property. So you were already, for many of these
Yeah,
people, in trouble.
You were a dead man walking. It was just extending the execution.
It was all it was, truly. So now we still need your blood urine EKG like we do on a traditional mortgage. We're still going to pull credit. The credit score doesn't matter, but we need to know that you've made housing payments on time for the last 24 months. That's going to really be scrutinized. And we need to make sure that based on the square footage of the home, what are the taxes? What are the insurance? Are there HOA dues? Is there flood insurance? Can you afford it going forward based upon all of the debt that you have? We need to see that credit. We need to count all that in. It's called a residual income test. It's the same test that's done on all government loans, whether you're doing a VA, an FHA, or USDA loan.
So first step, we're gonna wrap this up because believe it or not, we've been talking for an hour. Gonna wrap this one up. So first step, who do I call first? I call Kathleen first. Kind of give me the, who goes first.
We're a team.
We're a team.
So we call either one of you, and then either you bring Andrew in or he brings you.
Correct. We each have a lane. All three of us have a lane.
Yeah, and then somewhere in there is an attorney.
Well, the estate planning attorney, but also we're going to have a real estate closing attorney to handle the closing.
Oh, so there's 4 people, or maybe 5. And then we need the whole family.
I would like the family involved so that they know. Sometimes the parents don't want the family involved. That's their choice, but they might want their siblings, and usually they want their financial planner or their tax advisor involved. So there could be a whole round table of professionals.
So again, back to my initial question, I call you on the phone, or I call you on the phone, and I say what? I need help with?
I want to look at one of those HECMs. I want to see if I can qualify for it. I want to try to build an ADU on my daughter's house. I want my daughter to build an ADU on my house. I want to look at building an ADU for a caregiver so I can stay in my house.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of options there. So let me take a look at the math, see if you're going to qualify, see if you have enough equity to do so. And I'm looking at the complete total picture. And if you don't have a financial planner involved, I want to have Andrew be part of that conversation. So I want to show you what the options are. Now you go talk with him about what that looks like, both in the short and the long term.
And so from start to finish, I call you up and it makes sense. How long is that process, assuming Andrew's involved? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 2 months?
We can do purchases in 17 days. From offer to closing in 17 days.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with these loans is you must, by federal law, have counseling done first for the product that you're getting. So that means 1 hour phone call. In Massachusetts, we've finally seen the light here due to COVID, and it doesn't have to be face-to-face anymore because a lot of our seniors are homebound and they literally haven't left their house in years, don't even have an ID. I run into that a lot, or a valid ID, I should say.
Real?
Yes. They haven't left their house and they're in their 80s or 90s now. It expired. They didn't think there was a reason for it. Everybody knows them at the bank. They
I learned. Every episode I go in and I'm like, gee, I wonder what I learned today. And honestly, I learned. When I started this, it was originally a completely different format.
Yeah.
And I learned so much now just by asking questions.
Now I had to get 2 people that independently know them to come and authorize and verify that they are who they say are. Yes, yes, with an
No, it's a
brand.
problem, right?
Yes, it is an issue. It is an issue. It's not just about flying anymore. It's
And so how about for you, Andrew? So that phone call is similar? I'm thinking about how come I need help?
Absolutely. I think we'd sit down, we'd look at your financial position. What are your bills? What's your income? How much equity you have in your house? Tell me about your family. Very similar questions.
budget. It's all about budget.
All
That's
about
our
budget.
favorite word. Yes.
All about budget. And I will say my experience with the HECM, and I wanted to certainly point this out, Kathleen, because I'm as you found out, I'm very much with my client. So when my client was going through this, you can either just say, hey, Kathleen, you take over, or I like to be there with them on every step of the way, because I like to learn as well.
Yeah, I understand.
And,
You want to know what's going on.
And Kathleen was, she's very good at what she does. I mean, she walks you through it. It's not a situation where you sign a thing and then in 3 months she shows up, and she's very good at saying, this is next step, this is next step. And communication, I think, is one of the most important things for anybody today that's dealing with this kind of thing is, what's the next step? What are we doing next? And she's tremendous at that. And so it is a fairly quick process. And the other thing too is I love to educate, and I love my clients really not have any question what they're doing. And she was so good at that. So my client the whole way along knew exactly what we were doing and why we were doing it. So there's so much where we're in this world, there's acronyms and all these different things. And I really want people to understand this is why we're doing it. This is, and so she was really good at educating them along the way, which is really important to me.
And kitchen table. So I'm coming to you because a lot of them are housebound. It's just a reality, or it's just easier. They can have all the kids meet there, and we're sitting there on a Sunday afternoon. It's the Patriots aren't on, and discussing numbers.
Well, they're having a good year anyways. So, all right, did we forget to talk about anything around HECMs?
I think you mentioned it, but maybe didn't. That because it's a loan, I mean, all this income is tax free. So you're not getting taxed.
Wait, say that again.
So the $36,000 in cash you got, the income you're getting from this line of credit, it's all tax free because it's a loan. So you're not paying tax of it. So you make $100,000 a year, you really feel like you make 60 after taxes and all that other stuff.
True.
With this kind of thing, it's just
Not income.
yeah.
But I do want to address one thing on that because I often get the call, mom has fallen and they're at the hospital and the hospital won't release them or the rehab won't release them until we have 24/7 care at home. She has no money, but she has equity in her home. What can we do? And P.S., she's getting additional support because she's indigent, part of that Medicaid. So I don't want to disturb that. So this just happened to a client of mine, and we actually closed at the rehab so that she could go home following this, set up the 24/7 care. And what we did was get what the actual invoice was going to be for the in-home care agency. So we had that exact amount deposited into the account every month, and then the check was written immediately. So the income came in and it came out, so she was never over the $2,000 limit of assets per month. So it's important to have the full financial picture in order to be able to advise clients properly.
So it goes back to my first episode, tell you the whole story
Yes,
up front.
please and thank you.
I'm in trouble or I need help.
I'm
This
your
is my
first
scenario.
friends. Tell it
Da
all.
da da da.
Yeah,
Don't be mad. Don't be embarrassed.
exactly. Just stripped off the Band-Aid, and if I don't know the whole picture, I can't help you.
Exactly. And it's one of the biggest misnomers is people, I can't afford a financial advisor. Oh, I can't afford to talk to Kathleen. Those are the people that need the most help.
You can't
Yeah.
afford not to.
If you come
So that's a good point. So your initial phone call's free.
Mhm.
Your initial phone call's free. So what's
In
so
fact,
all
I
I'm-
get paid by closing the loan.
No, I understand, but a lot of people are afraid that oh, I gotta have a credit card, and they're gonna charge me $500 to talk to them.
And another thing is we do a lot of these for silver divorces. Have you heard about a silver divorce?
Yeah. So wait. So I actually just rewatched our episode just so I could get up to speed because honestly I'd forgotten the details of the HECM. So
Yes.
and it reminded me all the questions I wanted to ask about the HECM. So that was my homework. I did my own homework.
Good.
And so I heard you talk about that, and it actually makes me very sad to hear that.
It is very sad, but it is, so it's
You're
silver
not gonna like
divorce, it's those over 62 that are divorcing. It's happening in tremendous amount of numbers. We're actually dealing with 4 of them right now.
Yep.
And so there's not a lot of cash, and how are we going to
I mean,
live?
divorce is tough, but never
Divorce is
mind
tough,
being
but-
65 or 70 years old.
Exactly, it is happening. So what are we gonna do? So what we can do is allow one person that decides they're going to stay there per the divorce decree, and we can use the HECM to pay off or buy out the leaving spouse, departing spouse, so that they can take that money, maybe use a HECM to purchase their next home with the other cash, and then the one that's still staying there does not have a payment. So there was one couple that was sent to me, and they were divorced and still living in the home together because they couldn't divide it up, and this allowed.
So that was a
peace.
fun conversation.
What was the price of peace? So
That was the fun conversation.
right, because they only thought of traditional financing option.
So speed round, you've already
Okay.
gone through this, but we're gonna go through it again. So I'm gonna ask you both the same question. Favorite tool you can't live without? We're gonna start with Andrew, then go back and
You
forth.
say favorite tune?
Favorite tool?
Tool. Probably my drill. Garage tool, probably my drill.
All right.
Okay, so for me, it's software, and it's called Mortgage Coach, so I can put everything down to the numbers, and let's take the emotion out of it and just look at the math.
All right.
You meant like tool in the garage. My financial calculator is my favorite tool.
I was surprised when I went tool, but I was like, all right, my DeWalt man's here.
I was trying to think of the name of a tool, like screwdriver, spin. I'm just kidding. It's certainly my financial calculator. All day long.
I was waiting for that one.
Take that on my honeymoon.
That's fine. Dream project you'd love to work on. We'll start with Kathleen.
Oh, I just finished the dream project at my home, putting in a nice outdoor
that's right.
kitchen and patio. That was my dream project.
All right.
Yeah, my dream project would be to make a really awesome backyard barbecue grill area, nice little bar, little TV. I had a friend that did it, and I've been wanting to do it ever since.
That's what I just did.
All right. Best advice you've ever received. Start with Andrew.
The richer you get, the poorer you are at a higher tax break. Is what I was told a long time ago, and it's really held true. All my life, the more money you make, but so that's probably some of the best advice I've ever taken. The other thing that I really
So where's the tipping point in that, though, where you just make so much money it doesn't matter?
well, it's really a combination of making money in
Not
lower
spending it.
yeah, in lower debt. That's really the key to life, guys. Is not having a lot of debt and saving.
Amen.
For me, by far, the advice my dad gave me, you got to live for today, but you got to plan for tomorrow.
How are you using AI in your business?
Oh, we're using it a lot. We actually now have it implemented into our loan origination systems where the AI can review the pay stubs and W-2s and bank statements and give us an approval.
Wow.
I use it quite a bit. I found a lot of some of my technical stuff. It doesn't really work super well, but I use it for a lot of communication. Like I think a lot of people are. I'll write with what I think sounds great, and I'll put it in there. I'll make it sound like.
Oh, yeah. I haven't sent an email in a year and a half without running through.
Yeah, I use it a little bit for if I'm looking to find like a product of some sort, an Fidelity or an Empower, and I don't have time to go through their infrastructure. I'll use it for that too.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely good at mining data.
Mm-hmm.
Advice you would give your younger self? That can't be the answer you gave last time.
Mine is it my turn? Be patient. As you go through life, you're always looking for the next step, or at least I was, where I always wanted the next job. I wanted the next job. I always wanted to go to the next place. Because I started in the corporate world, and I always was trying to get to that next step, and I didn't enjoy where I was. And I think, be patient, enjoy where you're at, and enjoy what you're doing, because you probably won't be doing it forever. And then you go through all these iterations, and you get to where you want to go, and you feel like, I was in that position, and I just wanted to move through it. Just be patient and enjoy what you're doing.
Be coachable. Always be willing to improve personally, professionally. And I'm a big golfer, so you always, when you're golfing, want to play with people that are better than you. Same thing in business. You want to surround yourself.
All right, so we're not playing golf together. You wouldn't like that at all. Favorite food and dessert? Favorite food? Kathleen first.
I still love Town Spot Pizza in Stoughton, where I grew up.
Saturday.
Yeah.
And what's the dessert?
Ice cream. Always ice cream.
What flavor?
Moose Tracks or sea salt caramel.
From?
Gifford's.
See, I knew there was a lot of detail.
I am details.
I'm not that detailed in dessert. I would say I'm probably cake over. I like them both, but I'm a cake. I don't know if I have a favorite cake place, but any cake is up my alley. My favorite non-dessert food, I guess, Boy, it's a tough one. This sounds so terrible. I love French onion soup. I'm a big French onion soup.
Really?
fan. Yeah. I was blessed to go to France this summer and I
With
had
the cheese on top?
cheese on top. Oh, yeah.
It is good.
You ruined yourself. No, nothing compares
no.
to Paris.
Well, you went to France and had it.
Just this summer, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Just this summer.
That's going to be an expensive trip to go back and see that again.
Here it is.
For soup.
That's like a $10,000 top. It'll be worth it. If you could have dinner with anyone alive or dead, who would it be?
Oh, mine might be if I had alive or dead. I wouldn't mind having lunch with Warren Buffett or John Elway. Dead, boy. Maybe Albert Einstein would be kind of interesting.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that one
Would
before.
be kind of fun. What about you?
What? Both my parents are gone. I'd like to have dinner with them again.
man.
Yeah.
See, that was so good.
Yeah. They're all good answers. Final question.
Sorry, Mom. I met you too.
Shout out, Mom. You got $10 million to donate. You've already answered this one, but maybe you have a different answer this time. Anyone or any organization, who do you donate to?
It's a great question. I honestly, I'd probably donate some to the AZA. I spent a lot of time volunteering at zoos when I was in Colorado.
Really?
Like I'm an animal guy.
Yeah.
And so I probably do some to AZA, and I also do some to the Cancer Society. My mother died of cancer, so I'd certainly donate money to cancer.
Yeah.
So, Fairway has two charities. One is American Warrior Initiative, where
Yeah.
to date we have funded 420 service dogs to wounded warriors.
Wow.
That's great.
We have Fairway Cares, where we give a package of love and support to somebody going through the death of a loved one, a tragedy, or a critical illness. And then the third would be because I have a special needs sister that I'm guardian of and just adore, and I would give to Cardinal Cushing, which is the residence for her.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Well, that was a good episode. Tough topic. Yeah. But I honestly, I think that was very informative. I learned a lot. I hope everybody listening is going to learn a lot. I really appreciate you both being here. That's a wrap for today's episode of the BuildX Podcast. Thank you to Andrew and from Donovan Wealth Management Group and Kathleen Caddell from Fairway Home Mortgage for joining us. Please like and subscribe and share if you've enjoyed it. See you next week. And remember, just build, baby.
Just Bill.